How the heck are you guys? I am Fastidious, and this is really cool. Very sneakily, but in plain sight, Moonton has announced 2 new heroes in Watcher of Realms. With the new update preview, where they are very much focusing on the new boss, the new guild boss, Zerbus, who I have got to tell you is the boss in the hottest mess piece of content they've ever released in the history of this game. If you haven't seen my video yet, please go check it out. We need to do something. This content is literally broken. However, in marketing this new content and promoting it, they are giving us some hero recommendations. People we should build in anticipation, heroes we should keep our eyes out for, and they snuck in 2 brand new heroes that are coming soon. We have this giant demonic bug-looking guy who looks insane. And then we've got this little Irish mage healer looking girl over here who looks really, really, really interesting. So all we can do now is speculate, though I do think I've got some solid guesses about these 2. But it's a lot of fun to at least see that they're coming. I can also give some thoughts about when they might actually come to the game with banners. I think for at least one of them, I have a really nice idea. And then finally, the last bit of the video, I would like to ask you guys a couple questions with regard to what you'd like to see in these 2 new characters and how cool you think they look. If you think my predictions are good, or maybe you have some predictions of your own. Anyway, I'm Fastidious, guys. Welcome. If you're not yet subscribed, please frickin' do it. We're trying really hard to get to 15,000 subs by the end of the year. We have just over 2,000 subscribers to go. It would be so cool. I would really appreciate it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
So we've got big bug demon lord looking guy here, and we've got this kind of redhead with the green headpiece, and that's basically all we can go on. Except it's not, right? It's really not. There are a couple things we actually already know. They are recommended as members of the summon team. They definitely like to push their teams. And I don't mean factions, though usually teams come from a faction. But if you think of teams, it is just the style. It's like a way of playing the game. It's a shared interactions. So you can think of a very recent team they've pushed hard, or at least they were a few months ago, and it has become a dominant force in this game. That is the Poison team. So that Poison team with Vorn, Numera, Nastia, Vixera, depending on how you're using it, has become super meta in a lot of content, particularly boss content. The Summon team has been coming together for over a year now, but it is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Newer units like Beelzebub and Malvira, not that new at this point, but definitely on the newer side of the hero pool in this game, have been very dominant and very, very strong. Very nice cultists we got there. And then we've got units like Beatrix and Honora, who are not OG, but not as new as the other 2. These guys have seen huge buffs, right? Honora was already good, but she's better than ever after her buff several months ago. And Beatrix, a couple months ago, got maybe the strongest buff in the history of this game. It's kind of her Zealous. If you guys think there are other candidates for the best buff ever, I think it goes to Beatrix. Though I gotta say, the more I use Zealous, that Zealous buff is ridiculous. So this is the summon team. There are other summoners, of course, in this game, many others, and they are now saying these 2 units coming soon are going to be members of this team. So I want to throw some stuff at the wall, starting with the big guy over here, and make predictions about them. So when it comes to a team like this, you're going to need some semblance of control, some semblance of healing or support, and then, of course, some amount of damage. I think the big guy on the left here, this bug, I'm calling him the Bug Lord, he's got to be a DPS, right? Undeniably. I've seen some pictures floating around of him where you get the full body. He is this behemoth, this kind of Valderon look. There's no way that this guy is like a Beelzebub, right? Who's going to be summoning stuff to help people, to do some kind of inspiration, maybe bring some heal, maybe bring some damage mitigation. I'm basically describing Beelzebub right now, but you get what I'm saying. He's going to be some kind of bruiser. Maybe there's some functionality, and I actually think I've got a good argument that there might be, where he's bringing utility to other units. He's supporting other units through a key skill, for example. But I think he's got to be a DPS, which means as a cultist, unless they change something, he's got to be a fighter or a mage. And certainly it's got to be AoE damage, because if he's a DPS like I think he's going to be, and they're recommending him as a member of the summon team to help defeat Zerbis, who requires AoE damage to defeat him, he's got to be either an AoE fighter or an AoE mage. If we go one step further, and again, this is unsubstantiated, but there's been a ton of chatter recently in my comment section, and then absolutely even more on Discord, that we're due for a new Lord, and a lot of people have hypothesized it could be a Cultist Lord. I think there is definitely a non-zero chance this guy is an Ancient exclusive Cultist Lord. I know now I'm making a couple big guesses, but I think I can confidently say he's going to be a DPS, and he's going to be either an AoE Mage damage dealer or an AoE fighter damage dealer. And I think if you look that cool, and there's rumors going around that there might be a Cultist Lord coming to the game, it's got to be him. Now, why do I think he's Ancient exclusive? Because we have never had a Legendary Lord added to this game that wasn't an Ancient exclusive. Of course, there are the 7 original Legendary Lords that showed up on release, but every new Legendary Lord that has been added since then, it is 11, and I just figured out in my head, and I'll explain why. We have the 7 normal factions, the 7 factions that are not unnameable, chaos, or arbiters, and those 7 have their normal lord, and each one of those normal lords has an ancient lord counterpart, so that is 7. However, the Esoteria order has 2. There's Nastia and Cyrus, so that brings the 7 to 8. Furthermore, we have the 2 non-normal factions that aren't unnameable, right? So the Chaos Order and the Supreme Arbiters. Supreme Arbiters has Praetus, that's another one, so that brings us to 9. And then finally, the Chaotic units, the Chaos Order has 2, with Gon and Valeron. So there are 11. So to bring it back home, the 11 Legendary Lords that have been added since global release, there were the 7 original on global release in July 2023. The 11 since have all been Ancient exclusive. So if my prediction's correct that this guy looks too cool to be a normal character and he's going to be our 3rd Cultist Lord, he's going to be our 2nd additional Cultist Lord after Morgan, who's the OG, and because he's additional, because he's new, because it's not global release right now, it's actually 2+ years since then, he's got to be Ancient exclusive. So that's my prediction for this guy. I'm going to call him the big bad bug, the Triple B. We'll call him Triple B. I'm losing my mind. It's been a very long day. Triple B, I think, is going to be an Ancient exclusive Lord. I think he has to do AoE damage. The final prediction, this is not a hot take. If I'm right that he's dealing damage and he's in this comp, it must be magic damage. First off, I can't think, there might be one example, but I can't think of a single cultist that doesn't deal magic damage. And because he's recommended as a member of this team, if he's dealing damage, this is going to be a magic DPS team, and there's a magic fight and a physical fight in Zerbus, it must be that they're recommending him for the magic fight where you need AoE magic damage. So I think he's an AoE magic DPS. He's either a fighter or cultist. I think he's an Ancient exclusive Lord. Boom! Triple B, big bad bug. Put it on the board. Next up, we have this Irish-looking mage healer lady over here. Why do I say mage healer? Well, the only options, the only classes in this game, right? There's never been, to my knowledge, I think I'm right, there's never been a cultist marksman, so she can't be a marksman. So she's got to be a mage, a healer, a fighter, or a defender. This chick does not look like a defender to me. There aren't really any elegant lady-looking defenders. We got like Livian, but she's in full armor. We've got Avalyn, but she's a frickin' centaur. So I think that rules out defender. Can't be a marksman. She's got to be a healer. She's got to be a fighter. She's got to be a mage. I don't think she's a fighter because she's a delicate looking lady, right? I don't think she's brawling on the floor. She doesn't look badass like Magda. That'd be a good example of a cultist fighter. That's a female. So I think that leaves healer or mage. And here I'm going to predict she's not a DPS. Now, I have no reason to say that, but we don't really have such good non-DPS units, at least that are newer. There's like Karosa, who's kind of an enabler buffer. She's got her special passive, but she sucks. So I would think that this redhead chick over here, let's call her Irish Witch. Let's say Irish Witch over here. I think I feel like we're due for someone really OP. Kind of like, could be like a counterpart to Beelzebub. So like filling in his gaps. Maybe she brings a bigger AoE magic vulnerability. Maybe she brings better crowd control for certain things. Maybe it's a new type of crowd control. Maybe she's another inspiration hero. I don't know. Or maybe she's a straight up healer. I don't know if I'm willing to make a guess if she's a healer or a mage, but I am going to guess she's not a DPS. I could totally be wrong, but she just looks kind of like a little too clean and pretty, right? Like Honora here looks very badass. Beatrix looks very gothic. My girl Malvira looks gorgeous. I mean, this girl looks a little delicate. I feel like she's got to be either a support mage or a support kind of healer. The reason I'm going to say mage and not healer is because I think the only healer we have from the cultists, if I'm not mistaken, is Hollow. It'd be really cool if she was a healer. But especially with the new addition of Ireless, a really OP healer, and I'm hoping both these guys are OP, I'm going to guess that she's a mage, but I'm going to guess she's not a DPS. I have no idea what more to say. Do I think she's ancient or non-ancient? I don't think she looks unique enough to be ancient. She looks like she'd fit right next to Beatrix. So I'm going to guess she's a normal mage, and she's going to be more like an Aeon Mari type, but hopefully a lot better. That's what I say about the Irish Witch. So those are the 2 units. Let me know what you guys think. If you think those are spot on at all. There probably are people out there who actually have seen a lot more specifics than I have. I've seen almost nothing, so maybe you actually know. Do not do any leaking in my comment section, but if you've got a good guess or a good prediction, or you think I was particularly right or wrong about something, let us know. And in general, let me know what you think of the look of these 2 and what you're hoping to see out of them. The final thing before we go on to some Smile 1 stuff to finish the video is going to be, when could they come? Well, we actually know a lot more about that than you might guess. So this update is coming on October 13th. They're not showing it here, but you can see here. It's October 13th, which at the time of filming is in 5 days. I think when you see this video, it will be in 4 days. And October 13th is going to be the next update. We typically get one update every 4 to 5 weeks. So if we do a little math here and I pop the calendar up behind me, sorry if you can't see it perfectly. Let's see, the 3rd would be 3 weeks. So the 10th would be 4 weeks and the 17th would be 5 weeks. That'd be the latest we could get it. Because if they're announcing them as coming soon now, they must be coming before the next update, or otherwise they wouldn't announce them now. So the latest they could come would be, so they have to come before the 10th of November or the 17th of November. I would guess they're coming sooner if they're plugging them now and trying to build hype, at least one of them. So if we actually go here and we go to event notice, we can see we know a lot of the banners. I talked about this in yesterday's video at the time of filming this. They told us every banner happening with the Sung Wukong event. So we get a Sung Wukong banner that's going to be on October 16th. Then on October 17th, we're getting Ryzen and Yuri. And then on the 18th, we get Rygar and Carnelian. We obviously know this week's banners already. This week, we are getting Hex and Twyla, as well as just a normal, no rate up Ancient banner. So we know it can't be this weekend or next weekend. So if we go ahead now, could it be the weekend of the 23rd? Could it be the 30th? I'm going to guess one of those 2 weekends. Maybe they both come on one of those weekends, maybe the other one. I would say they're trying to make money, and they've had a bunch of bad Ancient banners recently. You know, last time, the Elder Cassiel one, I did not like. This upcoming one is no rate up. I think that's a waste of your time unless you're a brand new player who's like hunting for epic lords. So if we really focus in here, I'll make myself a bit smaller. We can really start to figure it out. The next weekend is going to be Rygar and Carnelian, which is a good banner, but a bit niche. Neither of those, I mean, Carnelian's freaking awesome. But she's not the Lord. And then Rygar is like, yeah, he's good in Abyss. He can be good in APOC, but he's there's a pretty good argument he's not the best legendary Lord in his faction. I would certainly argue that, even though Rygar did get a huge buff and is a lot better nowadays, he's not a top tier Lord. This is not going to be a Yovar banner. It's not going to be a Cyrus banner. And it certainly is not a Praetus, Valderon, Ingrid, Nastia banner, maybe even Soul Kittens you could fit in. It's not a top tier banner. So I think last week was a skip. This week's a skip. That's a skip. 3 weeks of skips. I don't even remember what was before Elder and Cassiel. I think probably if that guy is an Ancient Exclusive Lord, I'm thinking this weekend. Maybe it's the weekend after. I really can't say for sure. And for the girl, they probably do it together. So I'm going to guess he's the 25th. She's the 24th. Maybe I want to wait. No, I'm going to guess that it's later. I'm going to guess it's for Halloween. There you go. He's a scary bug. I'm going to guess that he's on the 1st of November and she's on Halloween. There's my final guesses. I don't know. Let me know how you think I did. I'm firing kind of blind here. I'm a bit in the dark. I barely know anything. So if we go here, let's pop this open. This is my Smile 1 link in the description in the top pin comment. We've got some pretty insane deals right now. They're still running for another two days, day and a half. Basically, you have to the end of today if this video comes out tomorrow. The discounts right now are insane. You know, I don't like to plug this stuff too much, but I like to do it once in a while when Moonton asks. It definitely makes them happy. And if you don't know, anything that you get with the bundles, I get 5%. It's a cool way to support me. That's not the reason to do it. But if you're already a spender, this is the cheapest way to do it, and you're supporting the boy. So if you buy like this $5 worth of W Gold, it's a 12% off. Or sorry, no, this one is 14% off. That's really crazy. It's all variable. This one's like 13.5% off or something. There's a lot of variability to it all, but it's all at least 12% off any W Gold, about the highest we ever see. And then you got to put in your ID to unlock the special bundles. You'll see them all listed here. But if you go ahead and you do that, this first group of numbers, these 7 or 8 digits, it depends on your account. This is going to be your account ID. Right? And then inside the parentheses, it's always 5 digits. That will be your server ID. Copy it here, your account ID or your user ID, that goes there. Now cut this out, your server ID, delete the parentheses. I hate that they make you do that. Now it does. Now this loads in and now you can see all the bundles. I know some people have had trouble because they want to buy like bundle 3. You can only get the bundles if they're numbered if you buy the previous bundles. So yeah, a lot of people want to buy this because it's 26 rare summons for $9. it's kind of convoluted. The only way you unlock that is by buying bundle 1, then bundle 2, and then you can get bundle 3. So you're like, they're getting a bunch of money from you. It's obviously expensive, and then you get the crazy good value. So if you want to spend a lot of money, it is a good value, assuming you're a spender. If you're not a spender, none of these deals are good enough to go for. But if you're already a spender and you're planning to spend a little bit, this is pretty good if you're going to buy all 3. But you can only get this if you do the other stuff. Otherwise, there's some really good stuff, but it really depends on your budget, right? This is probably the cheapest you're ever going to see. Ancient Summons, 23 for $90. Let's see what that is. 90 divided by 23. It's less than $4 an ancient. To me, that's insane. But if you like to buy ancients, this is as good as it's going to get. Here, it's less than $1 per rare summons plus some gold and then a legendary skill crystal. You can buy that 3 times. You can buy the ancient one 3 times too. So if you're trying to prepare for a future Anger banner, Nastia banner, Valderon banner, maybe the new big bug boy, if I'm right. Here's a good one that is not a bundle at all. You can just do it. You can just get this right now. Like, you don't need to buy previous things. This is pretty good. $9 for 15 summons plus 100 diamonds. That's probably one of the better values you'll ever see. That's probably the best one to go for. It's fairly cheap too if you're a low spender. This is going to be my top rec. I should have led with that. And then this is the random hero pack. I don't love these, but I know some people do. You're gambling. I guess you're gambling with all this. The cool thing is this time you get 1,000 diamonds, you get a legendary skill crystal, and you get 20 rare crystals, and then you're going to get one of these guys randomly. We've got Yovar, who's like the big juicy one, and then you can get Elwyn, Alora, Hotsit, Calypso, Kai, Nyx, Razak, Silas, and Yuri. So it's a Gear Aid 3 pack. Obviously, these are not all made equal. Razak would be the biggest stinker of the bunch. Alora also freaking sucks. Yes, perfect gear, and awakenings, and exclusive bangle, and exclusive artifact can make her pretty viable for high levels of Gear Aid 3. Aside from that, she is absolute dog water. Calypso is a bit niche, especially if you don't have A5. The rest are quite good, though I'd say Kai is really only for marksman content. Nyx is probably the best AoE, but still limited. And then you've got some really powerful stuff with Hotsit, Silas, Yuri, and Elwyn, and obviously Yovar if you don't have him. It's not the worst pack they've ever done. There aren't that many misses. So do what you want to do. Again, I say this in all my videos, but if you're not already a spender, these deals are terrible, right? Like, because if you're not already willing to spend on this game, it's not worth you don't start spending for these deals. However, if you've been spending, these are some of the best deals you're ever going to see. So simple as that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Big Bug Boy and the Irish Witch. And yeah, let me know if you've got better predictions than me about the timing, about when they're all coming, so on and so on. Here they are. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. Please subscribe to the channel, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.